We are rolling.
Woo, episode 2.
Yep. I just realized the window's open and I'm sitting here in a tank top.
That's pretty funny. You might want to close it.
And that's all. Yeah, I'm going to close it.
Don't worry, listeners. He does have pants on. Just rocking his post-shower outfit. Oh, IKEA. How I loathe your window treatments. Okay, now that the neighborhood can't see what we're doing in here,
Right.
let's get this thing started. First off, if we have any return listeners from episode 1 back for another round, we appreciate you and thank you for listening again. We hope you enjoyed things.
Yeah, that's neat.
And
We're going to be probably a little slightly less energetic this time due to we put off recording for like 2 days because like life happens.
yeah, Friday was a gigantic day in American history. Sorry. As of today, Friday for us 2 days ago was January 20th. And then the next day was also a very busy day, so we didn't get to it then either. So yeah, here we are.
I'll be perfectly honest. On Friday, I was just in a pissy mood.
Yeah, it was just a very... Let's not talk about that day.
No, not just that. It was just the day and whatever happened.
Anyway, we're here now.
Yeah.
It's Sunday night for us.
So we wanted to be in a better mood, but we're also like tired from the weekend. So we're like, do we want to do this another day? But I was like, no, we have to do it today. We're trying to make a habit, and
No, we want to be here.
yeah,
It's a little bit of work because we don't have like a studio space carved out, so we have to set it all up. But anyway,
and the kids were extra. What's the word? Energetic,
were.
in a good way, but the same way kids were. There's our guest, our kitty.
if you can hear the meow meow, that's what that's
Excuse
about. But I thought it would be nice to start things off with just a little, how was your week, honey?
Good.
That's all you have to say about it?
No, my week was just fine, if not a little bit really long. Not for anything stressful, just time slowed down, as work usually does.
Right. Okay.
How about yourself?
My week was pretty good overall. I realized from us doing this last week that I kind of carried that with me all week a little bit. Like, I think
What'd you carry with you?
the feelings after, since we did this last week, and I don't know. Hang on.
You mean like you're thinking about it the whole
Yeah.
time?
Well, not every moment of the week, but
Just like, oh, I could use that in a podcast.
No, more of, this is totally selfish and self-serving, but I think it's a good thing for our relationship that we're doing this, is what I'm trying to get at. Because it helps us communicate a little bit better, and it made me think about all those little things we do for each other.
You hear that, kitty? She said doo-doo.
throughout each week to give each other that time. So if you don't know what we're talking about, listen to episode 1, You Do You, and you'll know. So we'll wait while you listen.
I'm just in it for the beer.
So anyway, hopefully now you've listened to episode 1.
Have we even introduced ourselves?
No, but I'm Sarah.
I'm Luke. This is He Said, She Said, a relationship podcast. And not only like relationships, but also like family, kids, anything like that. So we like to share a little bit about our lives and stuff and use our life experience to try to help others and to maybe get a couple chuckles.
Right. You
And-
gotta find the humor and everything, because if not, it's just no fun.
Pretty much.
Speaking of which,
So
I have a funny to share
Oh,
about
okay.
our week. So I talked to Luke about this quite a bit. I just scratched the chair, by the way. It startled the cat. Anyway,
I thought the cat did something.
no. I talk about this a lot. Not a lot, but pretty frequently. I find myself saying things in parenting that you can't make them up. Like, they just happen, and you say them, and then it's kind of like a tiny little out of body experience where you're like, did I really just say that to like another human being? And you do. So this week, and I'll tell you guys the context after I just like lay it out. My thing I thought I'd never say, do you want to throw away your poop? So just a little context.
It was mine.
That's disgusting. No, it was our 1-year-old's, and
I was a big boy.
we just have like a standard diaper pail in the bath or in her room, so we don't put poopies in it because they stink. But usually, this is probably TMI, but I don't really care. I'm an oversharer by nature. If it's possible, I just kind of shake it out into the toilet and flush it because that makes the most sense, and then we can just dispose of the diaper as normal. However, she had a bit of a gooey one that time, so I was like, I ain't messing with that. Like, that's gross. I'm not even attempting. So we have those like doggy and I mean, they make them for babies and dogs.
They're doggy bags.
The bags.
Let me jump in with parent pro tip. Buy the ones for pets. They're cheaper. The ones for everything for babies is way more expensive.
And we can't take credit for that because Mandy gave me that tip in life. Hi, Mandy. If you're listening, you're probably not. You're so busy.
Thank you, Mandy.
Anyway, so
That sounded weird.
It did. Anyway.
It's because I have the headphones on and I can hear myself, and it's a little bit hypnotic. Go ahead.
It's okay. So, anyway, I put this specific diaper with poop in it in one of these bags and tied it up, and she gets a kick out of carrying it to the trash can in the kitchen to go in that one so it goes out to the trash sooner. And I looked at her and I said, do you want to throw away your poo? And I just stopped and I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And of course she immediately takes the bag from me and like giggles because she thinks it's hilarious. And then we go in the kitchen and she throws it away and I give her a high five, and that's that. So that was my thing I thought I'd never say. So yeah. And Luke got a text message that's more important than our podcast, apparently.
Guess who?
It's probably Sean. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's about the other podcast.
Tell him he has to listen to this one now since he's on it via text message.
Here, I'll do a talk to text now.
I'll wait.
This is our first live talk to text.
It's not live.
It'll go ping. Sarah says you have to listen to our podcast because you are interrupting our recording. Period.
That's not what I said.
LOL. Hey, it autocorrected your name correctly. No H. I think I programmed it. Sarah is very Hist. If you have an H in your name and your name is Sarah, no, that's the wrong way. If somebody spells her name with an H, she's like, ugh.
Well,
Sarah angry.
I do. If you don't know me very well and it happens, it doesn't bother me. But the thing that really grinds my gears is when work people do it. My name is at the bottom of the email in my signature. Just don't do it.
Don't really grinds my gears.
Right. Like, I don't know. And maybe they get confused because our last name starts with H. But like, I'm like, no. Anyway, moving on.
People are dumb.
They are.
Just say it.
They are. I actually corrected someone. I was like, come on. Like,
yeah.
I couldn't. And then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. It's just, it's right there on the email address.
So, we don't like getting political on this show because we invite all comers. However, it frames a other conversation, a dad conversation. Sarah took part in the big lady march on this weekend.
In a little way, though.
And not the Washington, D.C. one, the sister march in Dayton, which I am very proud of her for doing so.
Thanks.
But ulterior motive, get her out of the house. I got to spend the whole day, just me and the baby. Well, the 1-year-old. She's not really a baby anymore.
She's not, but I call her that still.
Yeah. Well, she's trust me, I'm the youngest. And even after I surpassed the size of all of my siblings, where like I was taller than everyone and bigger than everyone, I'm still the baby.
Right.
At my great uncle's funeral, still, oh, it's the baby, and I'm just like, hi everyone. Anyway, so I got to spend a whole Saturday with Sydney, like that didn't have mom gumming up the works. So it was cool. We knocked back some beers.
Did you teach her how to play poker?
No, but she had her first doobie.
Okay, nice.
She coughed a little bit, but like she'll figure it out.
In all seriousness, I was expecting she would finally walk on her own.
Oh, we tried. She took like half a step. She has
so
walked.
Close. She has.
But like she's just like, I did it once.
I'd
good.
rather just be quicker crawling.
She'll take
or
a step
me
and
walking.
then literally like jump down to her knees, and she does this cute little knee shuffle when she walks around. It's really adorable. But then we're like, walk.
Okay, let's not be those people. Not
What?
too much. But did you guys have did anything funny happen when I wasn't here that you didn't get a chance to tell me about yet? I did want you to fill me in on that stuff. Did you do anything adorable?
Besides existing,
Right.
that was a pretty normal day. Like we played and stuff. She wore me out, but it was a fun day.
Cool.
It's just a nice change of pace for me to have one-on-one with the baby, which is very rare because as the man of the house, I'm in demand quite a lot. So like I come home and everybody wants something, including the cat.
I don't always want something.
I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but I'm
I
just
know.
trying to make a point where it was just nice to like, it's just the baby.
Right.
And she's going to sleep eventually.
For a little bit.
She slept a little. Anyway, it was fun.
Anyway, well, that's good. So let's move on with our lives here.
You have the outline. You're the captain.
Oh, I just had those two little things we already covered, and then we can jump right in. It's very exciting. We have our very first listener questions to discuss tonight.
Yeah, I was
Yay.
a little bit shocked. I was honestly like our response we got. I was expecting like 4 or 5 downloads, and we got more than I thought.
We did
It was
well.
like around 30.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know, like, people, like, Joe Rogan's podcast or something gets thousands. But,
Right.
like, for us, like, I was really happy with that, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. But we actually got a couple emails, like, 2, but still.
Right.
They were okay.
I wasn't even expecting 1, so 2 works for me. Do I need to text Sean and tell him to leave you alone? He turned his ringer off, listeners.
Yeah, I had to turn but
So I wouldn't know that.
he
now
sent
it's-
back, are we going to start a fake war? Personally, I think it would be hilarious, like, between our podcasts. Like a podcast feud, and I can argue with myself on that one. The other one is 2 dudes drinking. If you're into a more crude version of myself, we'll talk about this one on the other one.
You better.
Anyway, so we do kind of the whole point of this is we're trying to plant the seed of user questions and listener questions, things like that. And with a very small listener base, like
Yeah.
we were happy for the 2 we got.
So
but,
we're
like,
going to answer both of them.
step it up, people. We need
So.
content.
Let us know. Even if it's like you want to really try and stump us and just make something ridiculous up, you totally can. I encourage it. Try and throw us a curveball, and we will see what we can do with it.
So if somebody does have a question, wife, how would one get a hold of us?
Well, husband, there's a few different ways. And these 2 questions came through at our email, which is hesaidshesaidpc@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at the same name, at hesaidshesAidPC. And then on Facebook, we are full name He Said, She Said Podcast. So meeny,
No.
anyway, any of those, you can send us an instant message. Is that what they're called on Instagram? A private direct message on Instagram.
No, that's Twitter.
I don't know. You can message us on any of those. You
Emails.
can text message us if you know our phone number too. That works too.
Yeah, that's for the private people, the VIPs.
And we won't tell anyone who you are unless you want to be famous on our podcast, and then we will. You tell
I'd rather
us.
not. We'll probably make up a new name just to make fun of you.
Yeah, we made names for our 2 question askers this week.
Well, Sarah made names. I do very little preparing for this show.
Right.
Too busy with the other podcast. It's a joke. It's a joke. Let it go.
Anyway,
She's jealous.
only because you get to like leave the house most of the time to go record it lately. That's all.
Half the time. We take turns.
Yes.
Compromise.
Stop talking about your other podcast and talk about ours. Please. Okay. Let's do, we're each going to read one and then we're going to discuss. You should read.
I haven't looked at these, so.
The first one, which is actually the second one when you look at the email inbox.
Is it the adults and video games? Ooh, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Luke and Sarah. Hi. Okay, you said hi twice. Glad you're enthusiastic.
Well, they really like us.
Okay. First, I want to say I enjoyed episode 1. You guys are great. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years and recently moved in together about 6 months ago. We have a good relationship, and so far living together has been great. ... Except there's one thing I have learned about him since we moved in together. He plays, all caps, a lot, regular, of video games. And I'm not just talking a few times a week in his spare time. He plays every day, sometimes for hours at a time. Sometimes we want to watch a show on Netflix. Sorry, that was my bad. I'll sometimes want to watch a show on Netflix with him. But when I ask about when he may be done, he tells me like he's on a roll, or okay, just after this round. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Which ends up turning into the next, then the next, and 2 hours has gone by, and I've been sitting around on my phone waiting on him. This makes me feel like he'd rather spend time playing video games than with me. See what she did there?
What do you mean?
Oh, she meant spend time. I thought playing video games, playing with her. Sorry, I'm assuming this is a girl. I have 2 questions related to this. Do you think he's too old to be spending this much of his free time playing video games? 2, how do I approach him about cutting back? Part of the reason I wanted to move in with him in the first place was to live our lives together, but sometimes I feel like we are still living very separate ones. Please help. And Sarah.
I changed the name so he would just read it correctly.
Regina Phalange. We're Friends fans, so those are excellent questions. And
do you want to talk about it?
Slightly offensive. I mean,
I read them previously, so I've been thinking about them. So
okay.
Do you want to jump in? I mean, this is kind of a man.
Question 1. Is he too old to be spending this much time? There are certain qualifiers. It's not exactly black and white. Do you have children?
We don't know.
Okay, you didn't mention that. Okay, if you have kids, if they're in bed or whatever, fine. But
I'm going, from the tone of her email, I feel like they're like mid to late 20s. I mean, and I feel like she would have said they had kids if they had kids, because they've only been together 2 years and living together 6 months. I don't
Regina,
think
feel
there's
free
children.
to write back and let us know if you have kids.
Yeah, because that is a game changer.
So I'll put it both ways. Like, if you don't have kids, then it's still like it's ticky tack. I don't see a problem with the age. If you do have kids, spending that much time, it's not really to do with age. It's just to do with, as long as they're spending time with kids too. But let's just answer it as if there are no kids. No, he is not too old. I have a personal stake in this question.
But it's not just playing them. It's the amount of time he's spending playing them.
Well,
because it seems a little excessive from the she over here.
Well, from the he, who is, I don't play as much as I would want to because of the kids.
You would want to play in all of your spare time for hours at a time sometimes
I
if
do
we
not
didn't
recall,
have children?
I do not recall saying that.
Okay.
I said I don't play as much as I would want to.
Okay.
However, if I do find a game, right now I'm like I used to just want to play all the time, like whatever. But now I have so little spare time that if I find something good, I'll just play that one game and play the crap out of it. And, but I don't have that luxury anymore. So if I had that time, I probably would play more.
That's why I think they don't have kids. It's because he has like the hours at a time. And
True.
she sits there waiting on him. So they don't have kids. Because if she had kids, she would be doing things for them in that time.
So now that we assume that,
So
like,
no, he's not too old. Which she didn't tell us how old he was, so that's hard to say. But like I said,
they moved in. They're adults.
They're
like,
adults.
I mean, I'm gonna guess early mid-20s, but you never know. Like, there's people who don't meet that person until they're in their 30s. Let's not assume. But I am a person. I think video games are. Not,
you're a person.
I am a person that thinks video games have become art. So, and they're exactly the same as being on your phone, or not being on your phone, but like. I can't think of how to word it. It's the same as like watching a movie to me, because they have good stories and like you're immersing yourself and stuff. So like, would you make the same complaint if you said all he does is watch movies? Would you make the same complaint?
But it's a very singular thing when you're not playing the game with them. Like when you're watching a movie.
You just answered your own question. Play with them.
Well, maybe she's not into that. I'm assuming she isn't if she takes issue with it.
Well, but there's the maybe right there, and that's one of the things.
And maybe that's a solution.
Yeah.
Because the second part of her question is how to.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah,
anyway,
which is okay.
Is he too old to play that much? No. It's just like any other hobby. Like, is there room to cut down? Fine, but like, just remember it's something that makes him happy. So, if you say like, "Hey, that thing that makes you happy, stop it." Like, that's a crappy thing to do.
I don't think she's going to say that because she said cutting back. Like, I feel like she's very much like, she knows he enjoys doing it, but it's starting to grate on her nerves that it's all he ever wants to do in his downtime. I think that's the feeling I'm getting from her.
Okay.
Regina, if I'm wrong, please follow up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, there's a point. If he's like literally spending every waking minute, and it's not even an age thing, it's like a politeness thing.
she said a lot in all caps.
Right. However, like, for me, if I was playing a lot, I'm talking about like, that would be me playing like 5 hours a day is a lot. But if I had time to play 1 to 2 hours a day, I don't consider that a lot. I don't have time for that, but that would just be casual to me. Because a lot of people like to spend their time like that. But I don't know. I guess I don't even know if we really answered that part. I'm going to say no.
To the first part?
Yes. The age doesn't really matter. Like, a lot of people think like video games are toys. But
I don't think he's too old to enjoy them. I think that's totally fine. Like, it's something he enjoys. That's great. However, the amount of time when he just recently moved in with his girlfriend of 2 years, that part, I think and guys are very literal, and if you don't just come out and tell them, and I'm doubting she has, because she doesn't want to, they just moved in together 6 months ago. Like, it's still new. She doesn't want to step on his toes. She sounds like a very lovely lady. But she needs, the extent is, I think he might be a little too old. And maybe if he was single, he could spend hours every day playing video games, but you're not. And maybe if he wants to not become single, he should be open to the second question she has about how to approach him.
I need to just refresh. How do I approach him about cutting back? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, let me do a little sidebar. She talks about, she sits there on her phone waiting on him to be done. Don't do that. Like, go do something for you.
Yeah, you're a strong, independent woman who don't need no man.
No video game playing man. At least in the aspect of, like, if maybe you could try to play with him. That's an option. If you do and you don't really like that, that's okay too. I will say that in our past, we would just do the training modes on games.
Oh,
it was so fun. We would just, because I'm not good at video games, especially
Terrible.
First person shooters kind of make me dizzy.
Yeah.
And I always end up in corners. I don't know where are you. So we would go into the training modes, and he would make me come find him, and I'd get to shoot him.
But if anybody has watched The Office, of which I am a big fan, I am also a large fan. That's a brain fart. There's an episode when Jim goes to the other branch to work,
right.
And I can't remember.
Rashida Jones is there.
Yeah, and they play Call of Duty to
That was my bedtime reminder.
But they play Call of Duty as like a group bonding thing or whatever at at their particular branch. And Jim really sucks at it, and there's times where he's running in the corner, and I'm just like, that's Sarah.
Yeah, and it's not that I didn't like doing that, because I did. It hasn't come up that we have time for anything like that these days.
Yeah.
But
And Sarah will play some shit out of some Donkey Kong Country.
I do enjoy the old Super Nintendo games.
Right.
But yeah, like don't feel like you have to sit there and wait on him.
But I would say option one, in no particular order, option one, like say like, hey, that looks fun. Can I play? A lot of guys would probably be like, whoa, girl wants to play video games?
Right. They really like it when you show interest in things they're good.
That's not just video games, like anything they do.
Really.
And like, if you become good at the game, guarantee you that guy's like, oh, this is awesome. I don't have to deal with that, but it's that's an option. Option two, find something else to do. If you can like resign yourself to like, okay, this makes him happy and I'm going to accept that, but like you need to find something to fill your time. Like, don't spend your time waiting on some man.
A few things I used to do before we had kids, well, if that were with us 100% of the time, I would read. I like to read, so I would read while he played video games. So we would spend the time together, and yeah, we weren't like doing the same thing, but it was still like we would sit on the couch together. I would take naps while he played, like curled up behind him on the couch.
Sarah is a celebrated napper.
I am. I love napping.
Do you remember the game there was a game I played that you watched?
Oh, I think it was the first Fallout.
Was it?
I think so.
It wasn't.
Or was it that country one? Like you were a cowboy. Was that you or someone else?
The way you describe these is adorable. It's not the first Fallout. It was Fallout 3.
Well, I don't know.
I know, but then you're thinking of Red Dead Redemption was the cowboy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you watched some of those because those have like a story to them.
Yeah.
Which is, again, why I like story-based games. I play online a lot, like multiplayer, but I prefer something with a good story because it's like playing a movie. And think about, like, if you're watching a movie, you don't want to stop in the middle of the movie.
Right.
But, I mean, you can also try to get, if it's that kind of game, like, watch. Like, you might find it interesting. That's how I got into Grey's Anatomy. Sarah would watch it, and I would make fun of it, but then I started asking questions, like, well, so what's up with this person?
Well, I also told him he has to stop making fun of it, or he's not allowed to watch it with me, because it was mean.
But that's the reverse of it, where she was doing something she wanted to do, and, like, I probably wanted to play video games. So I engaged her and started actually asking questions about the show. So you can do the same, ask questions about the games, just feign interest. You know, you can kind of fake it till you make it, and eventually you might find yourself interested.
And that's something you have to do when you live with someone. Like, you have to, like...
Oh, yeah.
Kind of... Even if you don't care about video games, they do. And if you love them... And I'm assuming you love this man because you've been together for 2 years and you're now living together. You just gotta kind of, like... be like, oh, yeah, that's great. Kill that guy. You know, I don't know. I don't know what kind of games
Sarah
he plays.
does a funny thing when I'm playing games.
I have done this for years.
No matter what kind of game, she walks in and she goes, "Are you winning?"
Even if it's like a first-person
like,
shooter.
It's not that kind of game.
Well, sometimes you play sports ones.
Yeah, but you can easily just look at the scoreboard.
Well, you know.
Just saying.
I like to engage you.
So there's that. Okay, other options.
I feel like I'm forgetting something huge that I wanted to talk about. Hang on. Let me think for just a minute.
Well, a way to approach it.
The way to approach. Just be honest with him.
Yeah.
Like, tell him.
I mean, don't be a dick about it, but...
No. But tell him, you know, since we moved... Not even since we moved in together.
You could just say, like...
Like, I want us to spend some time, like, living our lives more together, and I feel left out when you play video games. And then maybe that's a bridge for you to say, you know, so tell me about this game. Yeah. You know, what's the story?
And I will say a big no-no. Don't set time limits or schedules for his game time. That's like setting, like, hey, what's something you enjoy? Here is the very limited amount that you are now allowed to do that thing. Like, don't do that. That's a dick move.
Yeah, no one likes that.
But you can even ask, like, hey, like, it's a bit much. I'd like to do some things together. can you cut down a little bit?
Yeah.
It's okay to ask. Because honestly, the guy might not even realize it because he's just been doing this for so
Right.
long.
And that's the thing about men. Like, they just, unless you bring it up,
We are
like,
extremely literal.
they assume everything's fine. And, like, it's probably not going to change unless you talk to him about it. Something I've
Yes.
learned in the course
Communicate.
of our relationship
Yeah.
is a lot of times, and this is just how it is, and it's how it is with a lot of, I've a handful of girlfriends that I know will relate to me on this. Women are fixers. We're the maintenance people when it comes to the relationship a lot of the time, and it can feel kind of heavy from time to have to always play that part. But if you really love someone, it's worth it, and
Sorry.
you can even share that with them and they'll be better about things. I know that from experience about trying to like do that maintenance because it's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, something else you could do, just throwing it out there, maybe get naked and just stand in front of the TV.
I mean, that's one way to approach things, I guess.
I would almost guarantee you he's not going to say, I'm almost done with this level. No, he's going to go like, fuck this game. Yay. Like,
Well, that's assuming that they are doing such activities.
they're already living in sin. They better be sinning.
That's true. You mean you might as well be at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean that
That's an option.
would grab his attention, I'm sure.
Yes. Speaking of grabbing.
What?
It's another option.
Oh yeah, that as well. A little less out there.
But yeah, so to review, no, he's not too old, but the amount is relative, varying to person, because what Sarah thinks is excessive, I might think is not excessive. So without knowing an exact number, we couldn't really tell you that. But like, chances are, if you're noticing it, yeah, it's probably a lot. But like, you guys are new to each other, living together, and I'm sure there's much more than just video games that you're noticing about each other. Like, he picks his teeth after a meal, or she leaves her underwear in her pants when we do laundry. Little stuff like that. So, learn to accept the flaws, work with them, be honest, and communicate.
Right. And
And
it
if
really is key.
And if that doesn't work, get naked and stand in front of the TV. I mean,
And
it's
if
not
that
that
doesn't
hard.
work, you need to move on. Let's be honest.
I don't think big video games is going to be grounds for breakup.
No, if he has no interest of her standing naked in front of the television is what I'm getting at.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, you're correct there. Check the terms of release.
Right.
So, okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Regina.
Thanks, Regina. Sorry, I shouldn't insult her. That's not her real name, so.
It's not, but you still shouldn't make
Okay,
fun of her.
what's the next question?
So the next question, help. My marriage is boring me. Interesting title. So, dear Luke and Sarah, my husband and I have been married for 11 years, and we have 2 boys, ages 7 and 4. We met at a comic book convention and spent a lot of our dating and then early/child-free years of our marriage nerding out together at comic book stores, sci-fi movies, and the like. Once our oldest was born, our adventure slowed, and then after our youngest came along, they all together stopped. Life with 2 boys was busy, especially in those early years. I don't doubt our relationship, and I still love my husband very much, but lately after the boys go to bed, I find myself restless and extremely bored with our life. Ouch. I recently discovered the world of podcasts. Yay! And that has helped me a bit and given me something tiny and new to look forward to, but things with my husband are just so bland. I sometimes feel like we are just 2 people co-parenting some kids together who are also friends and roommates. Ooh.
Oh.
What can I do to get us out of this stagnant bog of boredom? She's funny. Thanks in advance. And we call this one Rita Wilson.
Were you in a Tom Hanks mood after you read this one?
I mean, I guess I was. It felt like a plot to a rom-com almost. So let me just dive in on this one a little bit. Yes, Rita, I know how busy life with kids is. It's very, very busy. And that roommate thing, it's hard to not slip into that, especially when you've been together for a very long time and you get really comfortable with a person, and routine can be a good thing. But then if it stays the same every single day.
Yeah, if you become a slave to that routine, like it's bound
no
to
good.
stagnate.
So, I mean, I don't know. I thought I knew where I wanted to
think
go with right away, but
divorce, right there. Sorry, it's the only answer.
no.
We're kidding.
Horrible advice.
We're joking. Don't divorce. It's expensive.
So let me just.
Okay,
I had all these ideas and they're just gone. I should have written them down.
Let me
You go ahead, honey.
put your man on. Just go get him. I'll wait. Okay. Now that your man is listening, just tell her you're going out for a pack of smokes and never come back.
This is, again, not so great advice. So, okay, you said you discovered podcasts, and that's something you're enjoying, and it's kind of like something new for you to do. You know, maybe share that with him. Be like, honey, I just found this great new podcast about relationships. We should listen to it together. Maybe not this exact episode because it's got an email you sent us, and I don't know if your husband...
What if he also plays video games?
Oh, no. Well, he's just screwed then. But, so, there's a couple different ways to look at this. I think it might help you both to get out of the house and do your own thing. Again, if you haven't listened to our first... I'm assuming she listened to our first episode. But maybe really take that advice to heart and take some time away from the house, away from the kids, to kind of reconnect with yourself. Because when I find myself feeling...
Now who's getting text
someone's
messages?
text messaging me. Oh, it's not a message. It's a weird notification from my fitness pal.
Oh.
Because I never logged lately. Anyway, maybe spending some time on yourself would, in turn, you would have something to talk about, to tell your husband about.
Yeah, Sarah and I actually take mini vacations by ourselves, like a day. Like it's just one of those times, like, and it's less. It's stagnation plus, like, not. I don't want to use the word exhaustion, but like
It's the monotony.
the ins and outs of every day. Sometimes you're just like, I need to go do something.
Do something different,
So, like-
even if it's like just a different.
Like we've totally
Place.
done stuff where like one of us will go like get a hotel room for one night just to be away.
Right.
No problems, and like you get a pool and like you get to go swim by yourself, and
Well, you've gotten to do that. I've never gotten to. I've been on business trips, but I haven't.
well, I guess I was counting those, but still it's like,
Not a vacation.
well,
I mean, I slept better, but
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I was gone practically all day, so I would count that as one of those things.
no, you were gone all day.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
But I didn't care.
good
I
for
was changing it up.
it exactly. And I mean, but let's assume maybe they do still both get out of the house occasionally, separately, but things are still kind of boring between the two of them. You guys met at a comic book convention. Maybe, find a sitter. The kids are 4 and 7, potty trained, hopefully, I'm guessing. They're a little more independent, easier to find someone to come watch your kids. Find a comic book convention in your area, and
God, like every area has one.
I
now.
know they're everywhere. Go nerd out again. Go
Go
find
to a store.
every comic book store within 20 miles of your house and just hit them all up and just
Well, if
really
you met there, I'm gonna guess you're into movies. Like, go to a movie. I think it's one of the things people forget too. Is like as your kids
I
get
don't want
older,
to go to a movie. That's what everyone does. Well, it's better than doing nothing.
yeah, go to a new restaurant. Like just anything, even as trivial as it sounds, find something that's different. Take a look at what you did the past week and say like, holy shit, we did everything the same every day.
Mm-hmm.
We ate almost the same thing. Like just change one of those things.
Even, yeah, like, I mean, I'm a stickler about not eating the same meals every single week of our lives. I can't stand doing that.
I am not. I don't care.
It's hard with kids because the 10-year-old kind of is a little limited on her palate.
She's not too picky, but
She's not the worst,
picky.
but she's still 10 and she doesn't
Yeah.
eat a whole wide variety. She has a thing with like textures of foods. Anyway, I like to change up our lives with our menu. When it's warm outside, I force us to eat in the sunroom occasionally. Just little things like that. Like,
It does help.
It does. And maybe after the kids go to bed, instead of watching a TV show on Netflix or both of you like zoning out on your phones, you know, what have you,
Go do something weird in the bedroom.
do that.
Get weird with it.
I mean, it's hard.
Man, you just rolled right over that one. I was trying to
Well,
be
no,
funny.
I was about to go to like, and that can feel like hard to initiate when you've been with someone so long and you get comfortable, even in the bedroom. I'm wondering if Rita might not. Things aren't so great since they feel like roommates. You know, maybe things are.
You got to burst through
didn't-
that barrier.
Maybe it's not. I mean, we can't tell from what she said, but maybe you guys play a board game one night instead of watching
I love
TV.
board games.
Maybe you share the podcast or a different one, not this specific one. I mean,
Start your own podcast.
that's one of the reasons we decided to do this was just to it forces us to talk to each other once a week without any interruptions.
I was tricked into this.
Well, without any interruptions besides Sean.
You texted me again, by the way.
I know, I saw you looked at your phone.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, but you've got to look back to when you first got together, and you don't necessarily have to recapture, but you have to remind, like, and remember, like, who that person was and why you fell in love in the first place. And go back to those things, like, you know, the comic books or whatever, and
Maybe you guys could find a new series to read together.
hey, there you go.
We read The Walking Dead. I don't get into a whole lot of comic books, but I have read The Walking Dead because I really enjoy the TV show.
We still haven't talked about. You're all caught up now. We can
am.
talk. We're not going to bore you guys with
No.
that,
But he reads one because they don't take very long to read because they're comic books, and then he'll pass it off to me, and then like we read them back to back to back to back,
and then we talk about it.
and then we discuss.
But we
Well,
haven't got to
sometimes.
talk about this one yet because she was juggling like 3 books at a time.
Yeah, I don't know why. Well, it's because you gave me books for Christmas.
Yeah, you still haven't finished American Gods.
I haven't. It makes me sleepy. It kind of hurts my brain. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a tough read, but it's good.
I'm really into autobiographies lately. So
right.
anyway, Rita, what else can we tell Rita?
What was the problem again? We
She's
rambled
bored.
so much. Oh,
Her marriage is boring her. I mean,
hey, let's go back to the last question. Say, like, talk to your husband. We're hearing the call of the baby right now.
yeah.
She sleep cycles, and then she'll go, oh, and then she'll go back to sleep.
Well, it's very quiet in the house too, though, because it's
Yeah.
freakishly warm where we are for
Right.
January, and the heat's usually on. So I'm just gonna take a little peek on the monitor. She's trying to go back to sleep.
Exciting stuff. She'll be fine.
We're gonna take a break.
The baby couldn't find her. She has a little stuffed owl with a little blanket hanging off of it. Its name is Owlie.
Very creative. We were with that one.
She couldn't find Owlie, so she was like, ah. So I helped her find it. Anyway,
Thanks, Dad.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
We're
Rita.
talking about poor Rita and her boring
Some other
marriage.
things she can do.
I don't know. Like,
There's so
part
many
of me-
things you can do to keep it fresh.
But part of me is also like, part of marriage is boring. Like, life is not exciting every single day. You know?
Dude, that's good advice.
Like-
Life is not like the movies.
It's not.
It's pretty boring, and then you die.
Right. And it's like maybe Rita needs to spend some time with Rita to see if maybe she's not so happy with her marriage and that's why she's so bored. I don't know.
Man, you went there.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe that needs to be considered because even on
We're gonna get letters like you caused the divorce.
I don't know. I mean, we've been married for 8 years this year, and I mean, I know that's not 11 years, but we've been together that long, and I don't feel like I would ever say I'm bored with you.
Life gets pretty boring.
I
Maybe
mean, it
that's the thing
does.
too. Like maybe your marriage isn't boring. Maybe your life is boring, and I say that in a very nice way. Like,
You didn't say it like a teenage girl. Maybe your life is boring. You said it very nicely.
well, I know it sounds harsh, but like, maybe take a look within and say, like, I'm the one that's watching the same show every day. I'm the one that's, in my pajamas at 7 p.m. I'm the one that...
There's nothing wrong with being in your pajamas at 7 p.m.
No, I'm just saying, but like, if that's the complaint or whatever, like, maybe take a responsibility and take charge and be like, okay, now I'm the one who's going to try to freshen things up. Hey, husband, I read about this new show on Netflix. Let's watch it.
And then talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
We just finished one of our shows, but we'll get to that later. I don't want to jump ahead.
I read about a new movie. Let's get a sitter and go have a date night.
I think that is my takeaway. Like,
not
best
divorce?
advice.
You're backtracking on that one?
Well, I'm just trying to cover all her bases. She didn't give us a whole lot of information. It sounds like she still loves him.
Sounds like it.
And it could just be that their kids are getting older, so they're coming out of that haze. Because, I mean, we're still, like, half in it, half out of it. Because, I mean, she had, if they're 7 and 4, they were 3 and newborn. And that was probably chaos with boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're, like, the youngest is 4, so he's a little more independent. And... It's you might not, maybe she doesn't know what to do. She feels like she doesn't know what to do with herself because they don't need her as much as they did before.
I can tell you plenty of things to do.
Well,
in the nicest way possible. With all due respect, there's so many things that a married couple can do, like take a trip. And you don't have to go to the Hamptons. Just go to
you could go to the Hampton Inn.
Well, let's step it up a little bit.
Courtyard Marriott?
I like Courtyard Marriotts. Just go to like a downtown. Just do stuff you've never done before. Go to a city you've never been to that's like an hour away. Just pick a hotel you've never done. I mean, make sure it's a nice one. Nobody wants bed bugs. Go eat at a local restaurant you've never been to. Order some food you've never had. Like, there, I just gave you like 4 things that can excite the life. And then you guys can talk about it until the next time you're bored with each other.
Why do you sound so angry at Rita?
I don't know. This trumps America. This is just how we talk about women now. Joking.
I mean, and if you can't get a sitter, maybe you don't have family nearby, maybe you don't trust strangers with your kids, whatever that might be. Take them with you. Take them to a children's museum. Those are everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Like, and you can get like a hotel room with the French doors, like a suite, so that you can throw the kids on the pull-out bed. And...
one of our daughters actually told me that she went to an art museum recently, and she actually told us that she's like, it was okay, but I liked it a lot better when you guys took me to that other museum. We took her to like a history museum.
Oh, right, the Natural History
Museum. And she really
Museum.
loved that. But anyway, like, there's stuff you can do with the kids, like,
right,
in all times a year. Like, just find shit to do. I feel like people, I don't know, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. Like, we're just like, oh, we're bored. Do something.
Right.
Like,
go for a walk.
Okay.
Go to the park.
Yeah, see if there's a park. Go to a hockey game. Go out, go to a new restaurant, and even as simple as watch a new show. Like, just change it up.
Right.
So we do realize that we're a little rambly this episode, but
we didn't plan as well as we did for the last one, the first one.
You people only sent us 2 questions, so we couldn't really.
We didn't really have. We had to take what we could get.
Right.
Thank you, Regina and Rita. They both had our names that I gave them. Interesting. How about that?
You're like Adam Sandler.
What?
He did V names for a while.
On his characters?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh. How about that?
Neat.
Anyway.
The more you know.
Let's talk about shows we're binging on. I won't say Netflix because the one we're going to talk about is not on Netflix.
Well, currently we're binging on none because we just caught up with one.
We did. And that's sad. I'm a little sad about that today.
So in this week's edition of shit you guys can watch. Which this is probably what we were watching last episode.
Yeah. It was the one we talked about the most.
Go ahead.
We finished...
Caught up with. It's not over.
Well, we finished watching all the episodes possible in the universe right now. The show is not over, so we're caught up.
There
I'm
you
using
go.
the wrong term, apparently.
Yep.
Anyway, Man in the High Castle on Amazon Prime TV. Is that what it's
Amazon
called?
Video.
Amazon Video?
I don't know what they call it.
It's through Amazon. And it's a really good show. It's very serious. But there was a little bit of humor in the last couple
They
episodes.
added it. It's funny. I complained about it in the first season because I was like, it's good, but there's just no humor. Like, everything's so serious. And then they must have gotten, that must have been the feedback they got because the second season they finally added a little heart to it.
And it doesn't give anything away. But one of the funniest parts was when a man eats a Twinkie with chopsticks.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I have I call it a book hangover when I'm sad after I finish a book. It's like a same thing with the TV show.
That's like after I finish a new Star Wars movie.
It gets comfortable, but because with these shows, it takes us a while. We can't sit and watch a whole 2 seasons in 2 days. We don't have that kind of time with the kids. But I mean, it took us 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
3
weeks to watch all those. So I miss it now. I'm sad. Plus,
But we'll have to find something new.
I don't know about you, but growing up, I had a sick fascination with Nazi Germany. From whenever I started learning, it's probably because I took German.
I would say in a historic way.
Well, right. That sounded bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinated with the history. I took German in high school, so that we learned a lot about it. So I really enjoyed the show. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a little complicated. I will say that. I don't know if I would have been
Just
able
have fun with it.
Yeah, but I don't think I would have been able to watch it on my own. You kind of kept me on track because I'm like, wait, who's that? Wait, what's happening? A few times, but that's also because I'd fall asleep occasionally.
Yeah, that is commonplace in our household. And then I go, don't fall asleep. You're like, I'm not asleep. I'm awake.
With my eyes closed.
And then we'll watch the next day, and she'll be like, I don't remember any of this.
I was asleep.
Yeah, every time she's asleep. So that's our recommendation still of this week is Man in the High Castle.
We have a couple actually user-generated suggestions that have come through
Okay.
on shows, but we haven't started watching yet, but that I think we should. One of them from Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Thank you for listening. Please continue to do so and share us with your friends and family. Anyway, it's on Netflix. It's called The OA. And we watched the trailer last week.
It was something like a missing kid or something.
Sci-fi.
We'll get to
it.
it.
Was kind of sci-fi. And the other one is The Mick, which is on Hulu because it's on Fox Broadcast TV.
Yeah.
And that's a
It had Caitlin Olsen in it.
yeah, and
We
it's
like
a
her.
it's a sitcom length. I think it's only
Yeah.
30 minutes. So yeah.
So there you go. Did we ever figure out a way to close this show, or did we just kind of peter out?
Last time we rambled quite a bit, I feel.
Yeah. Well, check for this episode as well.
Well, I mean, don't forget to find us online
Yeah. How are the ways that they could find us online?
on Facebook at He Said, She Said
Well,
podcast.
But if they're listening, they already found us.
Yeah, but I'm
How
reminding
could they
them
contact
they
us?
can contact us
There you
with
go.
questions and or comments. If we're just boring you to tears, let us know. Give us something better to talk about, maybe. Come on, people, help us out.
Yeah.
We have kids. We don't get out much. Except when we do by ourselves. No.
Pretty much.
Shoot us a message. Let us know what you need help with. And have a good week. Try to take some time for you,
Keep it fresh.
but keep it fresh with your partner in crime.
One last thing for Rita. Get naked. Stand in front of the TV.
That advice. It could really be the
It's pretty universal.
universal advice for any wife.
I mean,
or
when I'm bored by
girlfriend
myself,
or boyfriend.
Yeah.
Her husband.
So, I guess that's my advice of the week. Get naked, stand in front of the TV.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yep.
I think we're going to go out on that this week.
All right.
Till next time.
Am I supposed to say my name?
I mean, you can. I just wanted to say till next time.
Oh, is that like your little sign off?
Maybe. I don't know. I just said it.
Till next time, everyone. Till
Don't.
next time.
Why do you have to make fun of me?
I didn't know.
Well,
I thought you were trying to get me to go, like, say my name or something.
if you want to.
Remember earlier how we were talking about how men are very literal and, like...
You don't have to say her name if you don't want to.
I'm not gonna.
Okay. Till next time.
That's Sarah. And that's how we keep our marriage fresh. Have a nice week.
Bye, everyone.